So we've seen cases like this take place. On a larger scale, is it okay for a person to say, it's my brain that's responsible, not me?
That's a very good question, and a dangerous one too. And there's so much more to it than the legal aspect.
Like morals and ethics.
Morals and ethics, and not only, it's about our entire civilization. It's the key question. Are we responsible for anything at all? Or can we just say, oh, that's just how I am? Following that logic, a child may just as well tell the parents, it's not my fault I'm such a fool. You made me. You should have tried better. Like, that's on you. And this is already happening, you see. This thing that you asked about, it's already here because, for example, there have been precedents in the United States where the defendant made a statement. That's not me, that's my brain. Can you imagine that? This basically means, I have nothing to do with this. My brain is the bad guy, talk to him. This is a complete nightmare. If we go down that slippery slope, our entire civilization will collapse. There are some cases when this point can be valid. And like, for instance, a psychiatric evaluation, when experts have to see whether the person acted with the full knowledge of what they were doing or not. The only thing we can do then is isolate that person from society and try to treat him. But we can't blow this out of proportion to the point where we ask, do we have to be responsible for anything at all?
Let's talk about genetics in general. I mean, our genes determine a lot of things in our lives. So what has more power over us, our mind or our genes? Our brain or our genes?
Genes, unfortunately. In much wisdom is much grief, but that is the kind of knowledge you should have. I personally think that it wouldn't hurt if each person had their genetic and genealogical profile to know who their ancestors were, what they did, what kind of diseases run in the family.
Can the brain overpower genetics? I'll explain what I mean. Nowadays, we have a popular theory that positive thinking can cure even cancer. That if you think positive thoughts, it will all go away.
I think so too. My answer is yes. But I say this not as a scientist, but as a human being. We all know, ask any physician, that if a patient thinks there is no hope, then there really is none. But once they brace for a fight, that triggers certain mechanisms, including chemistry, which gives them the resilience to recover. So they actually get a chance. Every therapist knows that. If you give up and say, well, that's just genetics, there's nothing I can do about it, then there's really nothing you can do. But I think that a lot is actually in our hands.
Also, I've noticed that mental disorders are on the rise. I mean, depression, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. Is this a trend? Is there an explanation for it, or is it just randomly happening to lots of people?
That's something that's been worrying me most of all lately. Why do we suddenly have so many people with mental disorders? Why are we seeing so many kids with dyslexia or attention disorders? Every human being is exposed to mutations. We're evolving all the time. What if we're witnessing some kind of a breakdown? I've heard that in the United States, there's already talk of an epidemic of mental disorders. They think it's that serious. Here in Russia, we've been debating whether we should announce a nationwide year of mental health. That's not because we have particularly many cases, but the issue itself got everyone concerned. You see, it is a risk factor, and it entails economic costs because people stop living their normal lives and have to get help from psychiatrists and psychotherapists. They have to stay at a clinic, they don't go to work. Rehabilitation takes time, and there's often a long recovery period. This is all costly in economic terms.
Many people tend to believe that this rising epidemic, as they call it in the US, could be caused by the spread of computer technology and the internet.
That too.
It's the fact that our lives are largely tied to social networks. For me, it's a dilemma. I think that easy access to information is great. I think that being able to talk to my friends on the other side of the world is great. But some people believe that there is too much information and our brain can't handle it, that we're becoming dumber rather than smarter. What do you think?
The internet is a tool, and it brought dramatic and positive change to our lives. You can get access to any library, get this or that article in a second, when it used to take months of research to find what you're looking for, sometimes with no result. It's a good thing, yes. But there's a different point of view. There's even this term, the Google generation. It's been proven that the Google generation has significantly worse memory skills than their grandparents and great-grandparents. You say, okay, Google, and get an answer to any question, except, of course, it's often not the right answer. The right answers are not usually stored in the Wikipedia. Sure, it's very convenient. I use it too. Say, I forgot how to make a sauce, and I can look up the recipe right away. It's useful, but not for important questions. If I need to know what kind of structures Sumerians lived in, I won't read about it on Wikipedia. What are we seeing as a result of this digital age? Kids aged 2 or even younger constantly use tablets like the iPad. And when they come up to a real window, they do this, try to zoom in to enlarge the picture. The danger is that they don't see the difference between the real world and the virtual world.
But how is this any different from, say, my childhood? I mean, I wasn't grown